Here we go. All right. Welcome to all the Moneyball listeners. Today I have a special guest and someone I'm happy to call a friend, Mr. Randy Golda. How you doing, my man?
Man, I'm doing great. Life is full of passion right now for me. So
It's a heck of an answer. You don't get that too often. I love it, man. Randy up and bailed on us. He's a Buffalo guy who is now down in Nashville. Probably a smart move.
Motivation game? Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is like McDonald's, my friend. They motivate.
Although it's 70 degrees out today in Buffalo, man. Yesterday it was 85. I think we had a new record.
where'd that come from?
It was kind of uncomfortable. It was so warm. It was like for November 5th. I mean, it was like I was outside and I was like, this isn't right. Like I felt like end of the world. It was hot. It wasn't warm, it was hot. But how's everything going down there, man? How's Nashville going?
Nashville's great. I moved down here for the opportunity and it has not failed at all, has not disappointed at all for the opportunity here. And that's not to say Buffalo doesn't have any opportunity. It definitely does. It's just there is a lot more creators that were giving me the push to move down here and a lot of business that was giving me the push to move down here a little bit. So I cannot complain whatsoever. The weather is beautiful. I live in a really nice place and located downtown, and I just have the ability to network and create, which are two of my favorite things, network and creating, you know.
Yeah, and I can vouch for how excellent you are at both of those things. Tell the world your name, man. What do you do?
Yeah.
And what are your intentions? Like what are you, who are
Yeah.
you? And how would you describe yourself and what your goals and aspirations are, Randy?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my story is pretty simple, and I believe it's obviously what's made me so rooted in who I am and makes me so passionate is I come from a very, very broken and dismembered family. And, I was taken from my parents at a very young age. So I try to speak and represent and be this figure for maybe kids that are going through adoptions or so young, they're taken from their parents or have to live with other families. I was that broken child taken from my family. We're all separated, and now I've been able to build myself to a point and get a little past that where I've made over six figures if money matters for you, and I get millions of views a year on the internet trying to spread my message of positivity and motivation. So I really represent the broken kids out there. I think you could be a boy, sure, a man or a girl or a woman going through this, right? So that's what I represent, and that's why I'm so passionate today in everything that I do because that's how I learned how to survive. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
No, I do for sure. And I think that's very, very well said, man. You always speak from the heart. Every time we speak to each other, I always feel your energy. I think that's something that I always say to you is you have a certain aura around you, man. And if you've ever been around this guy, he's a bigger dude as well, but he's just got this, it's not so much a physique thing. He's just got this crazy energy where Motivation King, right? Motivation King is kind of what he uses, as his AKA, if you will, or kind of a stage name, I think you worded it. And you feel that when you're out, whether you're out, interviewing people on the street, which is a great fun thing to do, right? To get yourself out there. And I know your goals are far, far, far beyond that, but I love that you're just willing to put yourself out there any way you can to try to get your point across, and your end game, trying to get kids like you had just said. First of all, man, that's a t-shirt or a hat if I've ever heard of it. As soon as you said that, it's just funny where our brains go because you said broken kids, and I'm like picturing it on a t-shirt already. We got Buffalo logo in our pocket, right? And
Yeah.
shirts, dude. So I'm not joking at all. Broken kids is a great, and then you just start selling the shirts. That seems to be the new wave of things, right? Come up with an idea and market yourself right there, right? And I love the young entrepreneurship. How old are you, Randy?
I'm 27.
So still a young man. And the entrepreneurship, I will say this, all this social media stuff and all the negativity with it, because it is tough to navigate as a 46-year-old with it all, trying to keep up. And I pay this guy to help me with stuff. And it's difficult. But when I see positivity coming out of it, the young entrepreneurs, the people who really, really work hard and they're aggressive to try to get positive things across to people, that kind of makes all the negative go away. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I heard this quote, and I'm definitely paraphrasing it when I say this or just trying to explain it my own way, but it said some back in the day, I think it was one of the presidents, he said that uh factories are going to be the trillion dollar companies And then in the future, it will be companies, just digital companies or new technology, right? So like the Facebooks and the Amazons are going to be the trillion-dollar companies. And then next from there, it's going to be the people, right? So the individuals, the influencers, people like you and I who try to put our face out there and represent so we could, make money and create this extreme amount of value just by talking and using our face and our likeliness and all that. So 100%. That's where I'm at, and I love to get my face out there and build a personal brand. There's nothing like the personal brand because yeah, people like working with companies and businesses, but nobody sells you like you, and nobody can be you. So that's another reason why I do this stuff.
Again, well said, man. You're well spoken too for 27. I don't know your education level. You could tell us if you'd like.
Well, yeah, I graduated high school at the Park School Buffalo, which is pretty predominantly
Yeah.
in Buffalo. And then I went to RIT for electrical mechanical engineering.
Okay. Exactly what you're doing, right?
I don't know what I'm doing right now. No, but then I left, I dropped out of engineering school and I went to business school at Hilbert College, another local Buffalo place.
From my house.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I've always tried to pursue my education because I see the importance of that. But going through college, I understood self-education is more important than just any education. Self-education, how bad do you want to learn? What is your thirst for knowledge? So like even when I was out of school, I was just trying to learn as much as possible. I started like at 19, 20 years old, I started this drop shipping company where I sold iPhone cases online and bath bombers when they were extremely big on the internet and like these woman choker necklaces, just trying to make money like that. So I was just always learning and always trying to better myself and make money for my family and the future generation.
Was this stuff falling off the back of trucks or what?
No, well, drop shipping is the point of that is that you buy it from Alibaba online, a super, super cheap Asian website where
Okay.
everything is just extremely cheap.
Like a
People
Timu kind of thing?
Exactly. And people are used to, before Temu was big, right? And then, American commerce, we're used to paying top dollar or a little bit more.
Right.
So I would pretty much market these products, these iPhone cases that I would buy for $1.99. And I would say, they're free, just pay shipping. And shipping was like $15.
Listen, and that's the American dream, bro. And you're not being unethical or you're not the moral compass is still there. That's legit. And I mean, obviously you're making a little bit of money, but that's entrepreneurship, man. And in marketing that way, it's free other than the shipping. Listen, that started a long time before Randy Golda.
Yeah, I got that from somebody else. Nothing's
You got that from the whale guy, right? The guy selling the or who's our guy or the sheets, my pillow guy. Jesus, that guy, man. Whew. You know what I'm talking about? He's got the chain hanging. He's my pillow, and he's doing. Everybody's getting sheets for half price. Just man, he's everywhere. But you had a good segue when you spoke about a president, from back in the day that gave you that quote. It's day after election day. Politics. That's what everyone loves to talk about, right? But what thoughts on what's going on, man?
Yeah, people love to talk about politics, but I'll be honest with you, Don. You know what I'm saying? That's more of a private conversation for me just because
That was my
just
point.
because I am on the up and up right now.
You got to pick up on my sarcasm. That's the last thing people want to talk about is politics. I had a guy in yesterday with my day job, and we started with it, and at West Her, and we had mentioned something about politics right away, and he just kind of went off the handle. And that is something that, it's funny. Earlier today, I had Baby Joe, and he wanted to make a point of talking about politics, right? That's a dangerous, slippery slope, man. Especially when you're on Instagram Live. I mean, that's a slippery slope.
He's like, I could do this shit. I've already talked. I've lived enough of my life where
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense, right? You're on the up and up. You're like, you can't right off the bat take 50% or 30% of your viewers, and they're like, yeah, no, I don't think.
I don't want to lose 50 followers today.
I am with you. I am wholeheartedly with you. I will say this, it was very interesting how things turned out. It was unexpected, in my opinion, whether you're on the right or the left, blue, green, purple, whatever, as far as I've seen so far, the popular vote going, it's been pretty surprising, I think, to a lot of people, regardless of how you feel about it.
Right. Yeah. I think it was a lot of surprise for the outcome here.
Yeah.
But
My hope, man, is, my wife and I talk about it a lot, and our thing is, Republicans and Democrats, there shouldn't be. It should be Americans. So instead of an R or a D next to your name, it should say A, and it should be Americans and we the people, right? The country was founded on we the people. There's always been parties, even back in the day with George Washington, there was parties. Abe Lincoln was kind of the Republican when things started changing in that direction.
Right.
But my point is, we're all Americans, man, and there's a lot of divide, man. Right? Like if you don't like who someone else likes, so you're smart, not saying anything, because again, all kidding aside, man, there's a lot of divide in this country with that stuff. So I'm just hoping that everybody stays cool, stays peaceful. However, this turns out is what the people chose, and then we need to accept that and move onward and upward with it. You dig?
Yeah, I have hope for America, and I represent entrepreneurs. I want entrepreneurs to thrive as best as possible because it is a very tough game for entrepreneurs. So
Yeah. Yeah, it is for sure. So as far as, I guess not to put you on the spot, right? But and it might be a tough question to answer, but where do you see yourself in 10 years? Like what is your ultimate goal?
Well, 10 years, it's probably going to be wearing the hat that you're wearing. I'll be in the dad gang,
Right on.
um, and trying my very best to instill the best values into my sons and daughters with just how to lead the best life. I feel like that's going to be my job next, but still at the same time, while doing that, leading by example and being, and by this time I've already will have more connections, more business opportunities, and just leading a lot of things entrepreneurially and doing a lot of real estate and heading a lot of marketing. I'm really big in marketing, and I do a lot of stuff in marketing right now for a lot of different companies, and I really see myself maybe being like a major CMO or something, or just a huge face that companies want to go to get their products or services out. Well, that's really it. Like either big CMO and being a leader for my family and being financially free is a huge point where I want to be in 10 years. Yeah. And also really fit as well. I want to still have these guns, you know what I'm
So
saying?
far, so good, my man. So far, so good. I'll tell you, it gets harder as you get older. So I'm at
Yeah, I heard that.
I don't have that, but I'm
Do you?
in good shape. I do all right.
Shame, I stayed throwing that football around.
You said that. What I love about that answer, man, is you didn't say I want to be rich. I want 3 cars. I want, you know what I mean? You went right. There's a, like I said from the jump when I met you, there's a reason I kind of can read people and like certain people. And that answer just personified that. You went right into fatherhood or, kind of your aspirations with, again, influencing others. How can I be the best dad? Just like you're saying, how can I help broken kids? Just such a cool answer, because a lot of 27-year-olds would absolutely say, oh man, I want to have a Ferrari. I want to be out on the West Coast. I want to be, whatever it is. And it's refreshing, man, what you just said. So kudos for that.
Thank you.
Is there a life that you plan on having these kids with, or are you working on it?
Absolutely, absolutely. But just like the politics, I like to keep that.
Okay. Private man. He's a private man. Would you eventually want to see, Golda marketing up on a building somewhere?
As far as a company, well, I think very business wise. So I would probably have a business entity that just represents who I am. So like I would probably have a business entity or a parent company that owns the likeliness of Randy Golda. But other than that, I'd probably just have Randy Golda. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Yeah, I like it. What's your favorite sport?
My favorite sport is definitely basketball.
Okay.
As you may know, I grew up playing with a guy that made it to the NBA, Jordan Nwora, who's a good
Yeah.
friend of mine.
Yep.
I was really good at basketball in high school. I had and this, connects to who I am today. The passion that I took early growing up for playing sports is what I try to do in my everyday life now with business and marketing and being the best version. But, I started off just having a chip on my shoulder, wanting to prove to the world that I was great. I was great at this sport. So like by the time I was a sophomore in high school, I had a 44-point game, 28 rebounds, a dunk, my first in-game dunk, had like 6 threes, made all my free throws. So right after that, I was recruited, can't say that really, by Park School of Buffalo or it's the Monsignor Martin schools, like the Canisiuses, the Times and St. Jude's, all that stuff.
Yep.
And I chose to go to Park, and there we won a state championship in 2015 alongside Jordan Nwora for New York State Class B.
Oh,
and
so you were on the squad.
Yeah, I was a starter on the squad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, right on, man. Did you
Basketball.
Yeah, did you ever have dreams of taking it to the next level? Was that ever
Oh,
something?
yeah. Growing up, I always wanted to be in the NBA for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Looking back, I understand why I did not make the NBA was because I just simply did not know certain information that I should have known about how to become the best version of yourself
Okay. Yeah,
that
that's
I
fair.
do know now. So I'm not blaming it on like anybody besides like I just didn't know how to become the best version of myself. Quite frankly, I didn't practice enough.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
And
stopped.
do you feel like the lack of guidance was not there, or the lack of push?
Yeah. I would say both, but I never put the blame on anybody else. Like that's on me. You know
Sure.
what I'm saying? Like if there's levels to this life. That's what I say all the time. There's levels to this stuff, and
Yep,
if you
yep.
really want to make it somewhere so bad, you will find a way. Like as long as you want it bad enough, like a lot of people say, I love my family so much. I love my family so much, so much. And two guys could be saying the exact same thing, but one guy is really not truthfully taking care of them, and the other guy could be excelling in every category, right? So they say the same thing, but there's levels to this. You know what I mean? So like
Wise beyond your years, my friend.
I appreciate it. I
Yes,
appreciate it.
wise beyond your years. It takes a long time for a lot of people to realize that. And even myself, it took me a little bit longer later in life to realize some things. So you got a nice jump start on that, man. So stay positive, man. Keep doing what you're doing. This was fun. This was, just kind of a get to know you a little bit. Anything you want to add or anything you want to let the people know? Any shout outs or anything that you have going on?
Well, if I were just to let the people know something, my message would be to stop caring what other people think about you, because once you can truthfully figure that out on a real high level scale, you can exceed in many categories, many areas of your life. Just like yourself, if you want to start a podcast and interview people, don't care what other people think. One
Right.
day you may get, one day, and especially content creators out there, people that want to make content create, be a content creator. I get questions from them all the time, like, "Oh, I want to be like you and create content." Well, you have to not care what other people think. You have to not care if you get 0 views, but also you have to not care if you get 10 million views. Don't make that a contingency on your success. You have to stop caring what other people think, and that's how you stay motivated, man.
Wise beyond his years. I'll say it again. Wise beyond his years. Well, listen, man, we will obviously keep in touch. I'll get this chopped up and get it out there. So we'll talk soon, man. Have a great day.